You can give a little
Yeah,
cameo
you see,
if you want to give a cameo, man. We can do that.
this is
Oh,
Miles. Hey man. Hey man.
what up, little Mason
Miles.
Parker? How you doing? What up,
This
little
is Kim.
Mason
This is my
Parker?
wife.
All right, how you doing, wife?
This
Yeah,
this
we're
is
gonna
the
get into
youngest in
all that.
charge. Yeah, most definitely.
Look
Here
at
you go.
him. Nice, man. Nice. We go ahead and jump it off, man. All right, so
Already.
it's your boy Art back with another installment of your dig, the after show, man. We got a very special guest in here, rap extraordinaire, if you want to call it that. If you don't mind, man, go ahead and introduce yourself real quick, brother.
My name is Mason Parker, otherwise known as Quill to those who know me the best. But yeah, Mason Parker, man, and I am I'm a creative dude. That's how I like to introduce myself, man. I do a lot of stuff, and I choose to express myself through rap, poetry, but also film. I'm an actor as well, so I was a radio personality for a while. So just whatever way I can connect with you, that's what I'm trying to do. You know what I mean?
Nice, nice. I wasn't even aware of all of that, bro. That's nice. I'm glad you brought that down. We're gonna get right into it, man. So last year you dropped this project, Fire Project, Quantum Leap, right? 10,
Yes.
10 track joint. If you don't mind, let's get into the background of that, like I guess your process of why you created that album as well as why you titled it Quantum Leap.
Yeah, man. Thank you for asking me about that. Well, I got it. Let's start with the reason I called it Quantum Leap. I called it Quantum Leap because it was, if you listen to it, and clearly you have, there's a story that I'm telling. There's a almost a maturation process that I'm kind of narrating, a level up, so to speak. And when I started writing a lot of the material that's on that project, I was in a very, very dark place. Um, and all those things, came together to form something beautiful. And then that thing actually was the very thing to open up the doors that ended up changing my life, in a drastic way. So, my pain became my progress in a lot of different ways. So to go from where I was to where I am was a quantum leap, because a quantum leap by definition is a sudden and drastic change, you know what I'm saying, from here to there. You know what I mean? So um if that's not a quantum leap, I don't know what is, man.
Nice,
So
nice,
now
nice. Bro,
now
I'm sorry.
go ahead. No, no,
No,
no,
no, no,
you're
let's go.
fine. I was just gonna say, to answer the other part of your question, as far as like where the creative I guess wave for that started, it was more so out of nothing. It was out of just a pure desire to create, um, which was noteworthy for me because I had spent so much time, trying to get over that hump of, national and international recognition and trying to like, really like create that thing that gets me there. You know what I mean? So like when you're trying to reach for that level of notoriety that every artist that tries to do this professionally is trying to shoot for, I think you kind of if you're not careful, you're gonna enter into some projects like, well, where's this gonna go? You know what I mean? Like, what am I gonna do with this? How am I gonna market it? Blah 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 blah. Whatever. You're hoping that it advances your career some kind of way. And then, but for me, when I started writing a lot of this stuff, it was kind of out of like a throw my hands up point in my career where it was like I'm just creating because I have something to say. I don't know I didn't think any of this music was gonna come out, to be honest with you. I wasn't even sure
Wow.
what would happen with it. You know what I mean? When I was doing it, I just needed to do it. And my man Plan B, um, my man Plan B, who's out of Atlanta, well, we know he's from Jersey, but he's based in Atlanta now. He just basically hit me like, "Yo, come down," and he actually produced the majority of the project uh, with the tracks that we created. When he just said, "Yo, come through and let's just rock out for a couple of days, man," and Quantum Leap is what happened. So
Yeah, man. I was actually going to ask about Plan B because the production on this joint is top notch. Big shouts out to Plan B and everybody
Yes,
else, man,
sir.
but specifically Plan B. So let's get a little deep into your process if you don't mind, man. So you said you came down to the A, or how'd that work?
Yeah, so me and Plan B go back like four flats. You know what I mean? Like we've known each other for a good little bit, at least a third of our lives. So
Okay.
um we this is our first project though. You know what I'm
Wow.
saying? Like we connected on personal levels. You know
Mhm,
what I'm saying? We were just friends.
mhm.
And over the years, I had bought a few beats from him and we did good business and our business relationship and our personal friendship always remained on good terms. We were on opposite ends of the country, but every time I was in his area, it was all love. You know what I'm saying? So we just kept that bond strong. You know what I mean? And I was at a real low point in my life. I had just moved back from LA, and I had a project called the Paperback Hero Saga, which we can get into a little later, which was a comic book like slash graphic novel slash short film slash other stuff.
Okay.
And when I came back, um, there was like this expectation that that project was going to launch and have a certain success, and it never really did. It never really dropped. I ended up taking it down because it was a great idea, but I didn't roll it out. I didn't have the money to roll it out the way it needed to be rolled out. You know what I mean? So um, I hit a funk. I didn't really know. I had this project. I had this brain baby that I didn't really know what to do with. And I just was kind of at a point in my career where it was like, well, I don't know what's next. So, and then he was like, yo, just come down. And then out of that spirit, it was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna go straight 8 Mile, and
You
what I mean,
did.
just bare my soul on the record without any thought as to, well, how's this gonna fit into the mainstream trajectory or whatever, you know what I mean? And subsequently, it became like probably my most significant work to date. You know what I mean? So I appreciate you.
So Guadalupe is dope. So
I
we're
appreciate
gonna
that, man.
kind of change lanes, but stay in the lane a little bit. So the album is composed really well, man. You opened up the album, making sure you let people know that you can rap. First two tracks you went
Yeah,
Hamlet, Flex that
thank
second
you.
verse, man. Yeah, that's why I said rap is right there. That second verse on
Thank you.
Flex, straight fire, man. But so what stood out to me? I'm a Carolina boy though, so that track Carolina really stood out to me.
Shout
And
out G Yamazawa,
G
yo. Shout
Yamazawa
out
came
G
through.
Yamazawa.
Yup, came through,
Yes.
laid down some heat, man. But the track itself is just straight fire, man. But I'm gonna ask you a deeper question to it.
Yeah.
Why do you think it's important, or why is Carolina pride important to you?
It's important to love and appreciate where you come from and how that contributed to making you as dope as you are. Period. I mean, that goes across the board, whether you do music or not. Like, you should appreciate wherever you come from because it made you the dope person that you are. You know what I mean? For better or for worse. You know what I mean? Like, for whether you had to encounter certain obstacles and actually, I think both can be said. If you grew up somewhere like for any amount of time, you experience a lot of positive and a lot of negative there. Off gate, automatic. You know what I'm saying? So wherever you put roots at, you should be proud of that because that environment is what contributed to making or to preparing you to give your gift to the world. You know what I mean? And whatever medium you choose to do with it. You know what I mean? What mine is music and art and stuff like that. But if you grew up a certain way and you're from Charlotte or you're from Boone or Matthews or wherever, um, and something about the way you was raised, where you was raised, makes you want to get into the medical field or makes you want to go to the armed forces, serve our country, just puts you in the spirit to like, this is how I want to serve my community, this is how I want to serve people,
Mhm.
then that is a beautiful thing, I think. And I love Charlotte so much. Like I talk about it with so much passion because like all the things, good and bad, that I've experienced here added up to Quantum Leap. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? And all the things that went into Quantum Leap. You know what I'm saying? Um, and you can't really, I think we all have like these what if thoughts, you know, sometimes about our life, like what if, you know, I grew up somewhere different, or what if I grew up differently? You know what I mean? But I think if you think about it, we all come back to, you know what I'm saying, this is the way that it happened because this is the way it was supposed to happen. So hometown pride is a part of that, like I said, because it helps make you who you are. And then also, like, for a market like Charlotte, you know what I'm saying, which has been considered a black hole for a while, for a long time, you know what I mean? Like, I remember, you know, when people would be from Charlotte and then, you know, they would get on, like, they would be made to, they would have to say like they were from somewhere else, like New York. But you act like everybody know you actually from Charlotte.
Like Jodeci. I got Jodeci up here representing Charlotte
There
for you.
you,
You know what I mean?
there you go.
You
There
wouldn't
you
even
go.
know.
That's exactly what I was talking about. But you know, with Jodeci, you know, everybody went to Garrett, you know what I'm saying, or you know, from Monroe area and all that stuff. We got family all up and down here, and you know, we looking at them on the screen, and like, yo, they from Charlotte, but they got to rep New York. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Because the label was saying that. So as things went on, you know, like now you have an artist like the Baby, and he come out like, boom, I'm from Charlotte, bro. You know what I mean? And now people like have to respect that. Now eyes is on us in a different way. You know what I'm saying? Where at one point we was constantly getting overlooked. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, you gotta rep. You gotta rep. You know what I mean? You gotta put on for the home team.
Got it, man. Yeah, you got to tap in your roots. You know, if you don't know your roots, man, it's like Marcus Garvey said, a tree without his roots, you know. But
Yeah.
I'm gonna shift gears, but still staying on the album because the album is very diverse, right? So on the track Shooter, you rap, and I don't want to mess it up. I keep her on my hip, without her, I would limp. What is hold on? I keep her on my hip, without her, I would limp. I got it right. So that's an old, I'm assuming an ode to the woman in your life, of course. That track is a whole old, right? But my thoughts, man, what are your thoughts on how women are talked about or portrayed in this current modern hip hop era, we want to say?
Yo, I don't like it. I never have though. Like, I've never, and don't get me wrong, like I have a standard for like I don't bash nobody about how they express themselves. You know what I'm saying? Um, like, you know, most rappers drop bitch all over their records or whatever. Even when they like doing endearing stuff or they're saying like endearing stuff about women. Like, it's just the way I was raised. I just don't call women bitches as a general term. I don't talk about certain things in a certain way because at my heart, I'm a poet, and it just kind of cuts at my, like, it doesn't show my skill as a writer to just be so on the nose with it. You know what I'm saying? And I want it so that if you in a car with your 5-year-old, right? And my song comes on and I'm talking about sex, I'm talking about it in such a way that you know what I'm talking about, but she has no idea what I'm talking about
Facts.
until she gets of age and she's like, oh shit. You know what I'm saying? And that's the way it should be, you know, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But if that's not how you choose to, and let me kind of backtrack a little bit. That goes back to the fact that I was raised by an artist who taught me, and my mother and my father. But my mom is who really nurtured my artistic arm, and she made me responsible for my voice. You know what I'm saying? She taught me in such a way that I don't take lightly the platform that I have, no matter how big or small it is. The fact that I have a voice, the fact that I'm in a position that when I get behind that mic, people listen to what I'm saying. I have a responsibility to say it a certain way, to deliver a certain message. To even if I'm talking about something really, really dark, which is a reality of the life that we live, you know what I'm saying? Everything ain't rose tinted, you know what I mean? So you're gonna have to talk about the messed up things in life, but do so in such a way that you leave light at the end, that you put hope in it at all times, at all times. You know what I'm saying? Even if it's a self-talk, because that's not really how you feeling right now. You have to put that light in there. That's pivotal because that's what separates what you doing from what everybody else is doing. And when somebody is really, and it all goes back to why you're doing what you're doing. Because for me, it's a ministry. You know what I'm saying? It's a way for me to connect with people and to really meet them where they're at. So I want to be that artist that when you feeling a way, you put on my joint and I'm meeting you where you at. I'm helping you get through. I'm here for the real stuff. Like it's not always gonna be a party. I want to be there for that too, but I also want to be, like I said, that guy that you come to when it really, really matters. And the only way to do that is to be focused on connecting and to put everything that you do in a way that you're able to connect with as many people as possible. And when you ostracize any particular group, you kind of narrow your message. You know what I'm saying? So like if I'm talking about how wonderful women are, but I got bitches and hoes and I want to fuck you and put in your whatever. And that's how, it's less about like my heart may be to pay homage to the woman or whatever, but I'm doing it in such a way that it's so obscene that nobody can really appreciate, or such a narrow demo can appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? Then I'm not really getting my message out there, in my opinion. I want it to be able to be played in the club and then Walmart and then wherever, you know what I'm saying? So
Nice.
that my message can get as far out there as I want it to be. So I don't really like the way women are talked about and depicted in modern day, or I'm gonna say modern day hip hop. I don't know. I just appreciated the fact that for every Chuck B, for every Flavor Flav, you had a Chuck B. You know what I'm saying? Like there was more equal representation. You know what I mean? There was the Akinellis and the put it in your mouth and the, whatever, whatever. And then there was the Lil Kim and all that other stuff. But then on the flip side, like you had another message that was getting its share of radio play. So I mean, even to this day, like you still have that dichotomy, but I don't know, man. Just the standard is different. I don't know if you agree with that.
Oh, I agree with you completely, man. We actually just did an episode on the women of hip hop's history, and it's like when you see where women came from, what they was doing earlier, do you pay attention to how the women are portraying themselves or rapping now? Completely different ball game, dog. And the disconnect kind of
Yeah,
happened in the '90s, but I'm not even sure. I'm not even sure. It's just
yeah.
the industry is all about profit. You know what I mean?
Right. And like again, I don't diss nobody because I just hold myself to a certain standard. You know what I'm saying? And that's what you're gonna get from me. But you know what I mean? I'm not like I'll even get on a strip club record, but my verse is gonna be a certain way. You know what I'm
Mhm,
saying? Like it's
mhm.
not gonna be whatever. It'll be nasty, but only you'll know because you're old.
Exactly. All
You
right, so
grown. You listen to grown age.
I'm gonna shift lanes for real and get off the album for a second. So I can tell
All right,
you a
what's up?
serious I can tell you a serious writer, bro. Like I'm a writer as well. I found playwriting when I was in my 20s, right? How have
Okay.
you, I guess, how has your pen transitioned to any craft outside of rap? Could you explain that?
Yeah, yeah, man. I write a comic book, the graphic novel that I write called the Paperback Hero Saga. I've actually, I was a theater minor in school, so I've written a few scripts, started in a few scripts that I've never finished, done all that stuff, man. But uh, it it really or permeates like every aspect of what I do. Um, because everything that I have, everything that I do is based in the oratorical, you know spoken word or
Mhm.
written word in some kind of way. So um, I really got to flex my well, I don't want to say flex, but I got to really stretch my muscle, my creative muscle when I wrote the comic book, the Paperback Hero Saga, which is actually getting rebooted right now. So I'm really excited to drop that in hopefully the next year or so. But that's a multimedia project that I'm working on with my label and my management and my team, and hopefully when we roll it out, it'll be something special. But there's actually we've actually started breadcrumbing the story already. If you look at my last couple of videos, you'll see a lot of Easter eggs from the comic book that are in there. And I'm really excited about telling that story because it's all about like knowledge of self and you know, understanding the greatness that lives within you and all that good stuff. So I can't wait to come back and talk more about
We're gonna have you back, brother. We're gonna have you back. I'm glad you invited yourself early, man. As soon as that drop, trust and believe it, man. Your dig is doing big things, and you doing big things too. So we're gonna do big things together, fam. So I'm gonna kind of close out this part of the interview, and I'm gonna let you know, man. So I love your transparency, love your honest, your delivery. Definitely love your delivery, bro. Like you already know how nice you are. But what attributes do you look for in a record or an artist that you like or whatever? What attributes are you looking for, and why?
really the same transparency, um, and versatility.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like the ability to kind of hop in and out of your the different sides of your artistic personality. Like I really like that from an artist. They're how, you know, just how raw they are in the track. Most of the artists that I listen to, they pull an emotional chord with me
Mhm.
for somehow. You know, it resonates. Whatever they say, however they say it, it resonated with me like in here some at some point. So, and even and sometimes that may be just like witnessing their like ascension to you know, stardom or whatever, like seeing their story. You know what I'm saying? Like that also plays a role in it. And so I kind of sit back before I just decide if I like somebody and be like, all right, so you got it right now for like 2 seconds. Let me see what you do with it.
Mhm.
Um, you know, I was really impressed. Not that I'm like the one to impress or whatever, but I was really impressed with how like the baby walked that tightrope road. You know what I'm saying? Being that he's from the city and everything, I bring him up. Um, and I think a lot of us are proud of the fact of like seeing him like really like solidify his longevity. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
that's what I'll be looking for.
Wow.
That's what I'll be looking for. You know what I'm saying? Like when he dropped intro, you know, I was like, okay, that's a whole nother side, you know what I'm saying, of what we had seen, you know what I'm
Hmm.
saying, at the forefront. And
Hmm.
I just use him as an example because he's the biggest artist from the city, you know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? So why not? But yeah, like after he dropped that, I was like, okay, yes, I think he's gonna be here for a while. And
Yeah.
3 years strong, you know what I'm saying? Same thing with Drake. Like with Drake, I was like, okay, he's super hype. You know what I'm saying? He was super hype when he first came out. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, all right, well, you want to keep this going, or you know, what's gonna happen? And 10 years later,
Hmm.
here we are. So yeah,
So you think transparency is kind of would you say transparency is kind of a route to longevity, if you want to say?
absolutely. Because at some point, people got to be able to relate to you.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like it silences so many critics because they're not, you know, looking for that or looking for that from a lot of different artists, depending on like what your shtick is. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So if you can, anytime you can successfully throw somebody a curveball and they like, oh, that was kind of dope. You know what I'm saying? Like, then you winning. You know what I mean? And that's what like, but still stay you. Like, and that's the thing. That's the genius of it all is that you're keeping people on your toes. You keep giving them different flavors, but you're still you. Like, there's still this common thread of you. You know what I mean? You don't go off brand. You don't go too far to the left or to the right, but you still like, yeah. You get this, you get that, you get a little bit of this. I'm gonna give you a side over here, I'm gonna split this.
Facts.
You know what I mean? Different ingredients that contribute to the gumbo that makes your dopeness. You know what I mean? And I think that's what makes a dope artist. That's what makes a long-standing artist. That's why Pop is a legend, is an icon. Not because he was the best rapper, but because he was the best artist. He was so multifaceted, and he affected culture in so many different ways. Biggie, in my opinion, was by far a better technical rapper, but Pop was a more impactful artist because he connected on more levels.
Hmm.
He ain't just rap,
Hmm.
and he was so transparent,
Hmm.
and that's what made him Pop.
Uh,
You know what I mean?
well, you get some good
So
examples, boy. You get some good
I'm
examples. You
telling
a
you,
teacher?
I do. So I'll give you a little insight. When I was in college, the English department had me lecturing on this stuff while I was still there. And I actually still do workshops. So holla at Jamaica if you want to
Gotcha.
book
What school did you go to,
that.
bro? What school did you go to?
Winston-Salem State University.
Okay, nice.
SU.
The Rams, the Rams. All right, so what we
Yeah.
gonna do? we're gonna kind of close out the general part of the interview. So what I've been doing is kind of creating a case study of the interviews that we're doing and asking kind of general questions that you've been asked before. I can almost guarantee you've been asked this question before. I got a couple questions for you, bro. Give me your top 5 hip hop artists of all time.
Top 5. All right.
Top 5. Let's go.
We already talked about number 1, which is Pop.
For sure.
I think he's the most impactful. And as far as by the way, I'm ranking these off by impact, of like cultural impact, not necessarily technical skill. So anyway, nice. Pop, Jay-Z, Biggie, Rakim, and Grandmaster Caz.
What? Grandmaster Caz? Ooh.
Because he the cornerstone. He the cornerstone. He a favorite rapper's favorite rapper's favorite rapper. So to be honest, like he's to credit for a lot of the stuff that we love and credit to other people. The person who influenced that person was influenced by Grandmaster Caz. You know what I'm saying? So if you know hip hop history, then you gotta give it up to Caz. You know what I mean?
Nice, bro. Nice, bro. All right, so I'm gonna switch it up on you, bro. Give me 2 non-hip hop artists that have had the greatest impact on Mason Parker.
Paul Robeson.
Oh, nice.
Langston Hughes. Definitely.
Facts, okay.
Definitely.
Give me why. Why Paul Robeson?
You've heard him speak. Like, if you listen to Paul, just think about the similarities in the voice and how I deliver, and like think about the Paul Robeson to Chuck D to Tupac to me, like that big barrel-chested Shaka Zulu voice that is commanding the troops. You know what I'm saying, over the Serengeti, and you know what I'm saying, like, bro, that's what inspired me to speak the way I remember. So that and my father. I got my voice from my dad.
Okay.
So, and even the way, like my inflections and the way I talk and all that other stuff, a lot of that came from listening to my father and trying to emulate him because I really liked how he talked. And nice. I remember one time, he had came to visit me because he lived in DC when I was living in Jersey, and he had came to visit me. And we were in a hotel that he was staying at, and the room service lady had came, and she had left the food, and he gave me the money to give her the tip, and she walked out before I could give her the tip. And he like, hurry up, boy. You know what I'm saying? Like gave me this like big, like, and it shook me like that. I'll never forget it. Never forget it. That was the first time he ever like based on me like that. Over a tip. It was crazy. So for that reason, I never forgot it. But I wanted to sound like that whenever I got, you know what I'm saying? Oh, you know what I mean? I wanted to shake people like that. And then like I heard Paul Robeson sing, and I was like, yeah. Like I want to do that with my voice. I want my voice to shake people, like to just grip you, like the way Obama talked. When Obama speaks, people just, you might be walking by, you just kind of slow down in front of the television, like, what are you talking about? You know what I mean? Like he just has a way of just pausing you, you know what I mean? And I mean, you asked for only 2, I gave you like 6, but all of those people just have a way of commanding the masses with their voices, and I really respect that.
Got it. So Paul Robeson and your pops, bro. That's nice right there, man. So actually, there was a song on your album. I can't remember what song it came from, but you said rappers good at being seen, but tell me where your skills at. Right? So
yeah, that's Quantum Leap, actually. That's the title track.
Okay, Quantum Leap. What do you think about the current state of hip hop, G?
Exactly what that line said. Like, like I'll lay it out pretty plain Jane when I spit. Because honestly, it's become more about appearing the part than being the part. You know, like I could go to any boutique or mall in Charlotte and come out a rapper. You know what I mean? Like I got my slugs, I got my pinky ring, I got my chain, you know what I'm saying? I'm ready to go. What's up? You know what I mean? And I just go hop in the booth. I just go pay for somebody's studio time. I go pull a beat off of YouTube, and I'm a rapper now. You know what I'm saying? I give me some social media. I go do something stupid, go viral. You know what I'm saying? You know, I go roll up on people at Walmart and almost get beat up doing dumb shit. Whatever it is that you need to do, you know, to get people to look at you, see me, look at me. You know what I mean? Follow me. You know what I mean? Repost me, like me, comment under me. You know what I mean? Like it's insane. But you almost got to play that game to a certain extent. But some people, you know, are all about that and don't have anything other than that, and are getting on because of that. Because people are like, it's less about like being able to hold down a long career because you're a dope artist, and more about like, oh, he's popular right now. You know, people like him. Let's have him do music. Like everybody that get any type of notoriety is like, I'm gonna go do me a rap song. Like, bro, why? Like it's just become too accessible. You know what I'm saying? Like there was once a time when you used to be like, yo, I rap. And people be like, oh, word, go ahead, spit song. And they would be like mildly impressed by just the fact that you rap. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, he's a rapper, he rap. Because not everybody was doing that yet. You know what I mean? But then now it's like, yeah, I rap. Oh yeah, I do music too. You know what I'm saying? Or it's like, oh, okay, you know, word.
Everybody.
He another rapper, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like it used to not be like that, you know, like as recently as like, you know, I don't know, early 2000s or something like that. Like there was still some type of exclusivity to being a wordsmith, you know, and you still had to be able to back it up to a certain extent. Even the people that was making the bubblegum music still like when everybody found out that T-Pain could actually sing. You know what I'm saying? Like shit like that. Like you still had to be authentic. And now you just gotta be seen. And that's how I feel about it.
Wow. Cats good at being seen, but where your skills at? All right, G. So we closing out, man. So what's next for you, brother? What's next for Mason Parker, man?
Single this summer. We pushing Petey Pablo right now. My single that's out right now. Thank you very much. Petey Pablo, if you pay very close attention to the video, it is telling the Paperback Hero side of the story. So I need everybody to go back to Petey Pablo, watch that. And then after you watch Petey Pablo, go back to Quantum Leap video and watch that. Then go back to Petey Pablo and I'm gonna need you to MCU my video real quick and connect them dots, because I promise you, if you start following the story and you follow these breadcrumbs as I'm leading you into my universe, it's gonna get deep, y'all. It's gonna get deep. And I really don't want to miss nobody along this ride. I really want y'all to be along with me on this ride, bro, because it's gonna get nice. It's gonna get real colorful. And I really want y'all to see it, man. So please, please, please go watch those two videos and comment, like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. I don't know, like rent a plane and fly one of them banners behind it across the beach with my Instagram on it if you like. I would be appreciative. But just give me some support if you have enjoyed this interview.
Like that, you could bet. All right, man. So where can we find? What's your social and all that stuff? Where can we find you on the net, bro?
I am Mason Parker everywhere. I am MasonParker.com. I am Mason Parker on IG. I am Mason Parker on Twitter. I am Mason Parker Facebook page. And SoundCloud, and Mason Parker on all streaming platforms. Yeah. So yeah, check me out.
Music fire, man. Like I'm only bringing dope artists over here. Like a lot of people try to be down, but if you ain't dope, you know, here. But this brother right here is one of them, man. So make sure y'all go and support him. Everything Mason Parker got going on. You dig the after show. Make sure y'all catch You Dig, the hip hop show dropping every other Wednesday. But this brother right here is top notch. Go ahead and tap in with everything he's doing. That Quantum Leap album is fire for real. I done banged that like 3-4 times and preparing for this.
Yes,
you can tell I banged it though. You can tell I was.
I can't tell.
Yeah, I mean, but it's like that, man. So thank you, brother. Thank you for coming through. You dig. You know what I mean? Much love to you and your family.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And you a cool dude, bro. Yeah,
Thank
you
you,
know,
brother.
I gotta say, yo, you know what I'm saying? The limited interactions we had before the interview, like I really, really appreciate your energy.
Mhm,
And I definitely look forward to reciprocating down the line
mhm.
and continuing this relationship, this connection that we've cultured so far. So, yo, you cool peoples, bro.
Thank you, bro. And I feel the
Real
same way
talk.
about you, man. I didn't even know you was doing all that, man. We got to connect on another level. We have to have a phone
Yeah,
conversation outside of this. You know what I mean?
yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking to myself, man. So, yo, I really appreciate you having me on today, for real.
We'll chop it up, man. That's another episode. You dig the after show. We out of here. You dig. Peace, brother.
Peace.
You dig?